Hello. No countdown, no filler. We're just live.
We're just live.
Yep.
Give it a moment because it looks like it's trying to work
Still
itself
catching
out.
up. Uh-oh.
Okay, well, let's just go. There we go. It's caught
Okay.
up. Okay, we're good.
It's on. Hello, everyone. Back from vacation, so it was wonderful. The sunburn is finally starting to fade. Yet don't go up to altitude, kids, without sunblock. Really bad idea. But I actually, Reese, got to watch you last week, curled up in a very huge, comfortable chair in our cabin, curled up with a cup of tea. And that's kind of the way to do these things, honestly. We just need to make it super casual. Just,
It was super casual. It was really good though, eh? I was speaking to Young Bin and some folks from the Ubuntu Korea sort of community, talking about UbuCon Asia. It was good.
Yeah. And if you did not watch that last week, you missed an awesome one. But if you go to our YouTube channel, we have all of them recorded. And I think the video on demand is still on Twitch. So you can watch it here too. It doesn't keep it as long, but on YouTube it lives forever, forever, as long as their servers stay up. But yes, it is. They are an amazing group of people. I can't wait to go to an UbuCon Asia in person because they sound like not only do some amazing things, but also really know how to have a good time.
Yeah.
And also, yeah.
There's UbuCon Asia sounds great, and then we spoke to the UbuCon France folks the other week, and I think it's just fair to say that UbuCons in general sound like a good time.
And it's sad because I have not been to an UbuCon yet. Have you been to one?
No, I haven't. I've been to a couple of Ubuntu and Linux centric meetups in London, but they weren't UbuCons proper.
Yeah, and it's like I said, 2020 was going to be like, okay, we're gonna get my husband a passport. We're gonna go to Portugal and go to UbuCon Europe, and then. Yeah, we were even going to go to UbuCon at scale in Pasadena, which you definitely need to get yourself to once they're back in person because, Pasadena's awesome. But yeah, so definitely watch that. And I think especially not only for the UbuCon, but what a Loco can do because, oh my gosh, they're just really vibrant and active. And yeah, I'm so glad you had such a great chat with them.
It was great. What else has been going on? There's been some interesting discussions over on the Ubuntu Discourse about some RISC-V things. There's been some interesting talk there. That's been pretty fun. Our colleague William John Smith, who's been on the stream before to talk about Raspberry Pis, has been
awesome.
Nice conversation over there. And I see Heather is in the chat there. There's the Ubuntu desktop team in Dabo that's going to be happening tomorrow with special guest Martin Wimpress, which would be nice and fun.
Otherwise known as Wimpy, and
otherwise known as Mr. OBS.
Oh my God, so true. So true. So yes, so you should definitely all come hang out and watch and ask him questions, and it's going to be really fun. And Heather's just been doing a really great job with these indabas. And yes, so it's going to be awesome. So definitely come and ask questions and just hang out. It's really good to watch them afterwards, but it's something fun about actually kind of live chatting during it.
Certainly.
Yeah. So speaking of, today we do have two special guests from a part of the Linux community that not everyone might know about. So some of the moderators and admins of Ask Ubuntu made a Discord server called Ubuntu Hideout. They have 7,000 people on this server, and it is a pretty awesome, really vibrant place, and they're doing all kinds of things. And they ran a community wallpaper competition about a month or so ago. And I knew when they had this, I'm like, oh my gosh, whoever wins this, I would love to bring them on. And so we have the winners of the competition, Rolly and Charlotte. Charlotte is also one of the moderators on Ubuntu Discord, so all props to her because moderating stuff, if you've done it, you know it's kind of hard. And Rolly, if for any Ubuntu Mate people out there, also represent the Chelsea Cucumber. Rolly is the one who designed the Yaru wallpapers that debuted in our last release. So, without further ado, let me add Charlotte, hello,
Hiya.
and Rolly. And Rolly is going to be chatting in Twitch. And so if you have any questions for him, I will be putting them up there. So it is so great to have you both here. Thank you.
It's lovely to be here.
Yeah. So tell us, how did the two of you, how did you all get into Ubuntu? As a fairly recent Ubuntu person myself, I love hearing about how people got started.
Well, I guess I'll start.
Okay.
To be honest, I've kind of been on and off Ubuntu, like, because when I was very young, about the age of 4, I got a laptop that was like a Acer Aspire 1, I think it was, and the version of Ubuntu, it came with Ubuntu, which is quite funny actually. It had. Oh, sorry.
I'm just trying to think of what version that would have been. So
it would have been about 9. It would have been Ubuntu 9, I think. About that.
Would that be? Oh man, this is like the worst pop quiz. It's like what?
Okay.
Was that Hardy Heron or somebody in?
Oh yeah. Wow, we should know this.
We should know this. Jaunty, yay! Our
Jaunty.
boss.
Thank you, Ken.
Our boss saved us. And actually, Charlotte and Rolly are joining us without cameras, and so it's not any kind of error. It's just we're all for people communicating how they feel comfy. So
yes, no worries.
Yes. Oh, that was Ken's first one. Oh. Okay, that's awesome. So you got Jaunty Jackalope, which was Ken's first release, and that's really cool. Okay, and so tell us more. I mean, I feel slightly envious you were doing this when you were 4.
Yeah,
when I was 4.
Well, when I was about 4 years old, obviously I didn't know how computers worked, so it was more of just playing about with them. And due to hardware upgrades, obviously, I think I went off Linux for a bit, and then it was about up until about 3 years ago when I started to experiment with software a bit more, and I was like, I may as well try out Ubuntu again. And I was a bit unsure.
What happened 3 years ago? What happened 3 years ago to get you up to get you going again?
I don't know. The way I work is I usually get spontaneous, like, I get spontaneous interests of topics. So I was just like, I mean, Ubuntu looked like a very easy software to install. So, I just gave it a shot, and I was very unsure about it. So I had it as a dual boot for a while. However, I guess like about a year ago, I joined Ubuntu Hideout, where, I asked them a bunch of questions and they helped me out with Ubuntu. Now I understand it a bit more and I know more about the software, if you know what I mean. I'm no expert still, but I'm still learning. Everyone's still learning, I guess.
Everyone is still learning, and I would say even the people who've been here from the start would probably still say that they have things to learn. So
yeah,
but it's really great to hear that you came to it as the place that it looked like it was easy to install. It was an approachable type of thing. I think that's something that we really that Ubuntu in general wants to really sort of strive for, is being able to be accessible to people, even if it's just a gateway to other Linuxes. I think that's a good place to be.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And Dan Llewellyn in the YouTube chat has just said that he knows nothing. That's really humble, but that's also kind of a lie. Dan knows a lot of things. So Rolly, I think that you're in the Twitch chat. So if you have like if you want to post like a quick kind of comment there on when you got started. I'd also love to hear of how you got into Ubuntu Mate. This is me with my Ubuntu contributor hat on. Because that was the first Ubuntu flavor I got into, and it's the one I've stuck with. So yeah, so would love to hear about that. And I love seeing, okay, there's more people who started using Ubuntu when they, Reese, I think they meant 3 or 4. I mean, they could have been using it at 9 months, which, babies are old enough to, like, if someone maybe had like an Ubuntu phone, they could have someone just swiping. Yeah.
I don't think we talk about the Ubuntu phone. We don't talk about the Ubuntu phone, right? Okay. Rolly is that. There you go.
Awesome. So I first heard about Ubuntu in 2016. Then I got a chance to install it on my dad's laptop after he screwed up Ubuntu. I think probably a lot of people in the chat can empathize with that. I used Ubuntu for a while, but since it had 2 gigabytes of RAM, I had to find a lighter alternative. Oh, correction, installed it on my dad's old laptop in 2019.
When he screwed up Windows.
With Windows. That's actually how my husband got started. He literally blew up his Windows computer and didn't have the money to get a new operating system. So, and he had a disk. So,
storage.
It
There's an update. Wow. So it broke.
It totally broke. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so Rolly, which Ubuntu did you start with? And maybe also, how did you find your way to the Hideout?
Good question.
And I love how Ken has stated that all 3 of my kids got started with Ubuntu at about 4. So, Ken, we expect to see their applications in for, that is awesome, though.
Let me do that. I used Ubuntu, then Kubuntu, then Ubuntu Mate on that laptop. Perfect. That's exactly the kind of thing we'd like to hear. People trying Ubuntu, trying other things. Did you settle on one? Did you settle on one in particular? Are you still using Mate, or are you using something else?
Oh, and actually,
single boot Fedora. Nice. Cool. In October 2020, I dual booted Ubuntu on my current laptop, and now I single boot Fedora, and you're settled on a Fedora workstation. Great.
Awesome. So both of you obviously are wonderfully artistically talented. And how long have you both been doing kind of artwork and kind of all things kind of graphical?
I guess I'll speak here.
Yeah, you go first.
I think with artwork, as with the software thing, it was kind of just like a mixture of curiosity and spontaneous enthusiasm. That I was just like, one day I was just sitting there and I was like, okay, I want to do art now. So I think it was GIMP the first thing I learned in, which I just kind of installed it and messed about making. I think it was just small artworks or thumbnails and stuff. And eventually I got to learn a bit more about it. I'm not a particularly great artist, but that's why I found raster editing software a lot easier for me to use. And I just kind of fiddle about with it, I guess, and I find it enjoyable.
Okay, as someone who's kind of really new to a lot of this, what makes Rasta art different?
Rasta art is kind of just I'm very bad at explaining, so please bear with me.
No worries.
That is okay. And if you'd like, kind of, we're going to have like a kind of share your screen and show and tell. So if showing us would be better, then we can totally kind of table that question.
So I'll table it because I'm very bad at explaining. Bear with me a second. I'll just get my screen up.
Okay. So actually, Rolly had a pretty good simple explanation.
Okay. Yes.
Raster uses pixels.
So It's kind of like a
Vector uses shapes. Thank
an
you.
alternative.
Interesting.
There you go. It's the screen.
Okay, so let's add to stream. So, woohoo!
That's my art submission that I submitted to the Ubuntu Hideout art contest that Monica mentioned in the beginning. I decided to kind of take like a unique approach with it, and I was thinking, what can I associate with like kind of like a hideout or a club? Because so I thought kind of the good way of doing it would to be making like a neon sign, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because that always gives kind of like a cozy feeling because of the warmth of the colors and such.
That is a great use of that orange. And also there's a great conversation about the canonical people bringing up their kids right and teaching their kids to say Ubuntu and to like aubergine and orange. So that is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
How did you the what I presume is some kind of paint splash around the background? Is that something that you made? Did you make the outline there?
I originally I did not create it. I'm not too sure who created it. However, it's a logo used by the Ubuntu Hideout. The community, and they gave me access to the SVG for it, so I took that and kind of outlined it with a glow.
Awesome.
Yeah,
and
that does look really good. We've got some people who I know are from the Ubuntu Hideout here, and so maybe if they have any comments about how they came up with the logo, then feel free to put those in and just, that's actually cool. And Rolly has a comment here.
That's
that just ran an SVG tracer. That is really cool. Definitely above my skill grade, because I'm just kind of like, yeah, I've played a little bit with like GIMP and I've played a little bit with Krita, and I get out of my comfort zone super fast.
Would you like to showcase yours, Rolly?
Yes. So, and first I want to go back to Rolly's comment here of kind of that Rolly's
How did you get started? Where did you come from? I've been doing art all of my life, but since 2017, I've been doing vector art, which is, like you said, shapes instead of pixels, raster versus vector. Super interesting.
So we are going to add this to the screen. And I do believe I recognize some of these colors here. Yeah, I just want to say, who here has the Ubuntu colors memorized by their hex code? Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's fun. Inkscape is a feature where it can trace PNG, and I do both kinds of art. Oh, okay. You do both raster and vector. Cool. So that's the aubergine and the orange and making. Cool. And then you got the mate.
Mm-hmm.
What is the mate green? Is there a proper name for that?
Chelsea cucumber. And if Yannick is in the chat, he has the hex code memorized. He also has
Nice.
So and so I love kind of seeing the progression in Rolly's art, because when he did the Yaru back wallpapers for us, he did both a light and a dark. That was pretty much okay. I'm going to try and get this right. That was like a solid piece of artwork, and now he's gone and made it transparent. But then he went and made it transparent. So it will change, because we have that really cool color changing feature in Ubuntu Mate. So if you don't like Chelsea cucumber and that shade of green, you can make it be like teal. And I actually have it teal now. But hopefully the kind of what he's showing us, and if you need to put some kind of explanations in chat as to how that transparency works, because Rolly was showing me this in Discord chat yesterday, and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's kind of mesmerizing just watching the screen here, just seeing
I think
all the colors mold together.
I think what I'm going to do is actually give this pride of place. Oh, whoops. Sorry.
Pride of place and then kick everyone off the stream.
I
Then we
I
bring them back.
wanted to, yeah, I wanted to keep our sound, yeah, but it doesn't quite work. So that is really cool. Now, what are some of your plans for maybe some of like of wallpaper for maybe like 2110, or what are some of the things of what are some things you want to play with in the future for artwork, whether it's wallpapers or whether it's anything else creative?
Charlotte, do you wanna go first?
I'm so sorry. I was waiting for Rolly to.
No
I
worries.
think I think I'd like to experiment with more colors and stuff like that. For example, having more variety in color and just thinking of something completely out of the box. Because obviously, a neon sign design's been done before. Obviously, it's been done by quite a few people. So I don't know how I would be able to do it, but I'd like to take it to somewhere else, like something more abstract, quote unquote.
Yeah, that sounds that I think would be, and especially since there's just so much potential too, both with go ahead, Reese.
Do you have any ideas, any inspirations of things that you like, or sort of more abstract things that you might want to try and take inspiration from?
I have no idea. I kind of like.
Nice.
Do you know Andy Warhol, for example?
Yeah,
I kind of like that kind of poppy sort of stuff.
Okay.
So I'd like to try out something like that.
Pop art Ubuntu. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh, actually, that would be really cool.
Yeah. See what I can do.
Yeah. Rolly, I don't know. Fair enough.
And that's okay. Vector. Oh, okay, cool. So one thing is this right about vector art is that vector art can be scaled, whereas pixel art is kind of like, nah, it scales and it goes weird. I think so.
Yeah, pretty much. To be honest, it's if you because it's an SVG format. If you scale it up a lot, then you'll be able to see the definition in the lines. However, with raster based, if you scale it up, eventually it'll just become incomprehensible, basically.
Oh, I am going to also kind of share this here, especially for the people on Twitch. And this is from DWD, who's I do believe one of the founders of the Hideout. And he says that the Ubuntu Hideout logo has undergone several iterations, but it's inspired by a community-made wallpaper found on the internet many years ago, which had a similar paint splash. Awesome. Yeah, and it's just been really neat to see all the fun kind of things you all have done, like with some of the seasonal ones. I do believe you all also had a pretty awesome thing for April Fool's Day. I don't know if Charlotte wants yes.
Base. I'm so sorry.
It's okay, because it was adorable. And I feel like I've got the matching headphones.
Oh my god, yes. For April Fools, I made something quite a while ago. Basically, me and another member of the Hideout were kind of just joking about, and I was making a cute version of the Ubuntu logo, and in fashion, we decided to name it Ubuntu. This surprisingly, like about 2 months later, turned up on Reddit, and everybody was making their own Uwu distro. So for April Fool's Day, the admins decided to, go with that, and make Ubuntu Hideout for the day.
Yes, and it was adorable. And so if you feel comfortable at some point sharing that on your screen, you feel more than welcome to. But that was cute, because I remember asking Yeah, I remember asking you, it's like, could I use that little logo you described? Because I did a small thing. It's like, okay, I'm going to be the Ubuntu community representative for the day. And it was just, I mean, I've got the headphones. It's like they match perfectly. But that was just, and it's been really fun to see the hideout there and how involved, like with the things like the indabas and the and now with the community hours, just how excited that you all have been too. So it's been really fun to hang out with all of you, and I'm excited about things that we'll get to do with all of you in the future. So it looks like Rolly is kind of adding to this here to kind of show kind of how it progresses through all of the different colors. And I feel bad because I think Zubuntu would be that darker blue, and then that aqua is kind of like the Kubuntu in Studio, I think. Yeah, that looks. Oh, it is interesting to see the Ubuntu Mate logo on those different colors that we associate with other flavors. So it looks cool, but it just feels you're just like something's off.
Yeah, so something's going on here.
Yeah.
It's cool though.
Yeah. So, and so what? And just oh, Heather had a really good question back here.
Would it help the artists if they knew the release name ahead of time while they are designing? That's a super interesting question. Charlotte, would it help you plan things and do things?
Yeah, for sure. Because obviously, if I knew the release name, I'd know what to kind of expect to make the artwork themed about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. As I said, I'm very bad at explaining stuff. However, yeah, I think if I did know the release name, it would massively help with color scheming and stuff. Well, obviously there's an Ubuntu color scheme, but there could be anything else if, anything could happen.
Okay. And Rolly, how about you? Would having the release name ahead of time kind of be a helpful thing? Or let's see if we get a chat there. Oh, okay. And Rolly actually says that the release names already get revealed quite early. So, and
That's
I think,
good.
Yeah, and I think if anything, if artists are like any of us who wait till the last minute, no matter how early we get it, we'd probably all be doing it like the day before anything was due. So
I know I did that a lot in school.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, it's like I have 3 months to start on this, and then it's like, nah, I don't have to. So, I have an interesting question. If I know we've had a lot of animals already. Oh, actually, Heather has a really good one. How much freedom do the artists feel like they have with the color schemes?
As I said earlier, I think, as I said, I would like to experiment with abstract art. So I think I have quite a bit of freedom to make it, colorful, yet, informative and, stuck to the actual, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and it's interesting here to see, while you're talking about that, to see Rolly screen with all the different shades. And there's actually, I know, like for the aubergine, there's like 4 official aubergines.
Really?
Really? Yeah. I get. Let's see. It's the Ubuntu palette. Bill, our design team will be happy for the shout out.
Oh, there you go. Is that them there, Roy?
Oh yeah, nice.
I'm gonna assume so. Yeah, cool.
just put that in the chat. So if you ever wanted to like get things printed, you even have the official codes. So and yeah, we have so we've got the 3 aubergines, and then we have the canonical aubergine, which then come in all of their tints. So there is, even though it is those 2 colors, it seems like there's a bit of flexibility with them. So Rolly, that's super handy too that you have that all built in. And Rolly, which program are you using? Inkscape. Cool. Which is one of the ones I have not played with yet.
Oh yeah, do you play with any artist tools normally, Monica?
I played a bit with Krita because I did get a Wacom tablet that has now been like gathering dust for like 2 months. So, but also unfortunately, Ubuntu Mate is one of the few flavors that doesn't work well with the Wacom stuff because the drivers, like it plugs and plays, but if you have 2 monitors, you have to kind of manually tell it not to go. Yeah. And use Krita for raster and Inkscape for vector.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool. Charlotte, what do I know you mentioned that you started with GIMP. Is that what you still mainly use?
I currently use Photoshop by Adobe. The reason for this is, personally, for me, I've always found it to be, a little bit easier for me to use, like, interactively. However, I think over the years, like, software such as Krita has gotten a bit, more user-friendly, and it looks a bit more familiar to me, so I might play around with Krita, like, eventually, and maybe even GIMP as well.
Awesome. There are some pretty good YouTube tutorials out there, and definitely would love to have more artists who kind of use this because this is just, it's funny because we use like so many of the things that the creatives in our community make, we use and don't think about all the work and skill that goes into making this stuff. So yes,
definitely. And it's I agree that it's I don't know anything about all of this stuff either, but is it all sort of approachable? Kind of, can you get started with things like Inkscape and Krita? Image editing and Krita is good for art. Okay, that's super interesting. But Charlotte, would you recommend these things as just for people who want to learn or want to get going, or is there other tools for more entry level things?
I think I would recommend Krita for art, as a Rolly said, and GIMP for image editing. Mainly because I think the only reason I'm not as used to them is because I didn't grow up using them. However, definitely from what I've seen recently, they're very good and very, easy to pick up, at least. So I would recommend, definitely. I think they're brilliant.
Cool. And have you tried the GIMP Snap package? Have you used the Snap for when you used GIMP?
I think I did use the Snap.
Okay, cool. Just satisfied Dan there, good there.
Everything's good if Dan is happy. So
indeed.
And using your snaps, and that's good because then Heather has studied those snaps, so that's great. So for Rolly, for Inkscape, what do you say? What is the primary difference or like primary use case difference between Krita and Inkscape then?
You're on mute if you're speaking.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, we're talking to Rolly. Yep, never mind.
Yep. So, okay, so Inkscape is made for vector. Okay. So if you were thinking of doing things like, would this be things kind of like icons and stuff? Oh, Inkscape is good for icons. Cool. Which is always a way to, I think that's kind of a piece of art that I certainly don't think about. I mean, for art, I tend to think of wallpaper and things. I
Mm.
don't think of all the little icons that I use to navigate between to show me what program I'm in. So it's, but this is, I think I want to put both of these comments up here. So we fielded a question in the community this week, how to get a first job. The theme of our replies was largely, get some experience first, however you can. And this, I think, is a really good point for artists in our community. Something like the use of their artwork with attribution would be a great help to them.
So for things like you guys' artworks, where do you, besides places like the Hideout, where do you publish them so that they're accessible for people, so that people can use them and attribute them in the proper way, or is it more of a personal on your hard drive kind of thing?
Most of my art is, personal on my hard drive. However, I have been thinking about making some kind of website to put these things on. How I'm going to execute this, I have no idea. However, I've seen a little bit of I've seen a few art project websites that are quite minimalistic, yet they're like little galleries that will stay on there. So it's a field that I kind of want to see if I can get into.
Putting things, that sounds super. I mean, there are lots of people in the Ubuntu community who have lots of experience with that kind of setup. Would you want to set up your own server, your own website, and do everything, or would you prefer to have maybe like a WordPress kind of thing for your art where you put things on there? Would you want to try and do it all yourself?
I'd love to do it all by myself. I know a little bit of HTML, but not nearly enough to make a fully fledged website. So it'll be a bit more of a learning experience for me. And I've always been interested in programming a little bit. Well, not programming, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, carry on. Sorry. Yeah, we know what you mean. Yeah.
Yes. So, and I think kind of having places where I know, because we have in the desktop, we have some people who, like, especially when we come up with the, when we post the official artwork, that we have people who have created their own and they'll add it to that post. But it would be neat to maybe have maybe to better promote a place where people can kind of share their desktops, and maybe even have to highlight that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Let me just roll it back to what Rolly said as well. So they put almost all of the stuff on an SD card, but they also have a website, which is rolly.neosites.org. So people can go over there and have a look. Hopefully, that would be super interesting. Is your work on that site available for people to download? Is it available for people to reuse, that kind of thing? What sort of licensing and attribution is there? And I'm presuming this gradient that's on screen is the really iridescent gradient. That's super
Very
interesting.
nice.
This is how it looks when I reuse that gradient. Awesome. I like that we put the Mate logo on this thing's face. That's pretty cool.
It does look very cool. It looks like some kind of awesome robot bug. I like it.
When I have more stuff, I'm going to put it onto the website. Awesome. That's super interesting. I mean, I'll be keeping my eye out. This just from the little demoing that you've been doing on the screen here. I'm super interested in seeing what else you have.
It's been really almost hypnotic to watch in the background. Just all these color changes. And it's so neat that it's things that Ubugtastic. Oh.
Oh dear.
Oh. Okay, I'm really sad that I'm not on this with my personal Twitch, because one of my channels, there's a pun bomb emoji, and I would so use that for this. So yeah. So anything, so is there anything else that you all would like to share? Anyone who's thinking about kind of trying their hand with artwork, is there any advice that you would give them?
Is that a question for us or the audience? Sorry.
Yep, it's a question for that's a question for you all.
Oh, I apologize. I think the only advice I'd really give is to not be afraid to, experiment, because
Mm-hmm.
obviously a lot of people have a very focused image on what quote unquote art is. However, fail to, realize that art is highly subjective and there's different variants of
Mm-hmm.
art and different styles. So you should never be like, you should never let your art style hold you back from, you know, distributing art, and you should never let your skill hold you back. Just, just
Yeah.
just distribute what if you love to do it, just just have fun with it, really.
Yeah.
Through the experiment. And Rolly here says the only way to improve with art is just to make more art. I think that goes for a lot of things, right? That follows the practice makes perfect mantras that I've heard lots of different artists of different kinds, whether that's visual or otherwise. Lots of people say the same thing, right? If you want to improve at something, do that thing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yep. Just get stuck in and this is, I think, a great parallel to a lot of things in our community, as Dan has posted.
And
So,
what's really lovely about all of this, especially with programming and with maybe a little bit of art and with things like website creation and design and setting all that kind of thing up, I think there's lots of people in the Ubuntu community who are always happy to help and share that knowledge and help people get stuck in, so that they can do that practicing and do that over and over again in the way that they like, which is super great.
mm-hmm. And we have another question from Heather. So, Rolly and Charlotte, are you a part of any other open source projects besides Ubuntu?
I am not currently. I would love to, get involved with it a bit more, but not currently. Is my only answer, really.
Okay, so basically, not yet.
Not yet.
Mm-hmm.
That's a better way of putting it.
Not yet. Yeah, Rolly says the same then.
Not yet.
Which is I think is a I think that's a pretty common thing with Ubuntu. People find Ubuntu and they get interested in open source, and then they learn on other things. And I think that's a really good thing. I think that says a lot about Ubuntu being a good place to start, or
Mm-hmm.
it's just a place that people end up finding, which in and of itself isn't bad.
And another, this is like the
Another
inspirational quote episode.
Yeah.
I really like this. So practice your knowledge, ask questions when you need to, and improve your abilities and skills, and eventually apply your, it's a 3-parter. Abilities in force with whatever you want to contribute to. Whether it's community support, yay, programming, art support, etc. And Thomas, that is extremely true. Thank you. All right. 3 out of Dan, don't get picky. Oh my gosh.
such a wise stream today. And then Dan shows out 3 out of 2. That's great.
It's like therapy.
Yeah.
It's having like-minded people to talk to is kind of a great thing, honestly.
Definitely.
So,
I really like the rainbow Ubuntu that's going on the screen right now. That's super awesome.
Rainbuntu? I like that. Yeah. A rainbow. Yeah, it's just like my brain is going to keep working on that. Dang it, Reese. So so before we get to our announcement, is there anything else that you all would like to share? And it has just been great having you on. And Rolly, I've loved that, like the work you've been doing in the back. And definitely, if you put that on your website, give us a link so we can put this in like future posts about this. Because that would be cool. It's raining Ubus and Buntus. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
so many bad puns. So many bad puns.
I apologize.
It is okay. So, anything that you'd like to share before Reese and I give our special, awesome announcement?
Nothing particularly to share other than just, everyone have fun with yourselves. Just experiment with art. Use Ubuntu. Uninstall Win. Yeah, okay, you know what I mean. Basically, just the gist of it is be creative, have fun.
That sounds like really good advice. And Rolly, I need to download Ubuntu font. It is really handy having that font be everywhere. Just saying, it's
I have it
really
downloaded.
nice. Yeah. I think I have it downloaded. I don't know. I think it probably comes standard on Mate.
I have it downloaded and I have it on everything. I think the Ubuntu font is one of the best fonts, just objectively. Even if I wasn't an Ubuntu person.
Yeah, look at that. Oh,
Nice.
Rolly, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Wallpapers.
I love it. I just love how you made that during the stream. That's so fantastic. Big pot, thank you. Saved by one of my team members. So, before we make our announcement, Rolly and Charlotte, just want to thank you both so much. I'm so happy you agreed to do this and to share your artwork and your process and all those things with us. And our community is really happy to have creative people like you in it. So thank you so much.
It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Yeah, yay!
It's been great to have you. It's been great to have you here.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, so should we get to our announcement? OMG, Ubuntu's here. Oh my gosh. Oh God, I didn't even mean to do that. It was such a bad pun. All right, I think Reese is getting everything fired up, so I'm just going to take you all off of here. I think I will leave Rolly's thing up. So Reese, if at some point when everything is ready to go.
Always ready, Monica. You go ahead.
Okay, so speaking of wallpaper competition, so we picked Rolly and Charlotte because they were the winners of the Hideout competition. But it turns out that is not the only wallpaper competition that will be happening. Reese and I are and the community and desktop teams are more than happy to announce that we are having an Impish Indri community wallpaper competition. So Reese is in the process of getting everything fired up, mainly our discourse post that will have the rules and which you will be able to post all your creations to, whether they're photo. Reese, you're brilliant. Yes. And so all of the rules and guidelines are there. Will Cook, if you're listening to this, we borrowed heavily from previous competitions.
We forked his work and we've repurposed it a little bit. There's some changes, but it's mostly Will's great work. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so the competition is open until August 20. Yes, so that gives you almost July, almost 2 full months to get your artwork in. And so this can be photographs, this can be raster art, it can be pixel art. And so if you look in the rules, it's got all of the handy things like, the what not to do's, things like kind of size requirements, all of the technical details. And I believe there is a link to the last competition, which was the EO and Ermin. So it's been 2 years since we've had this competition. But especially after seeing what Rolly and Charlotte and other people have done and how inspired they are, I'm really excited to see what our community makes and what is going to compete to go into the official Impish Indri image. So
really exciting. And as you say, there's a link in the discourse post to the EO and Ermine. So if anyone wants any inspiration or they want to see what's happened before, you'll be able to go and see the previous discourse post. And since OMG Ubuntu is here, they had a nice write up for every single one of the wallpaper contests that have come before. So I'm sure you could poke around and search for them if you're looking for something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very exciting.
Yeah. And so this is, we hope, the first of many more to come. We really think this is a great way to get the community involved in the releases, and we're really excited about this until it comes time to vote, and then it's going to be really, really, really hard to pick our favorites.
It's okay. We don't do a lot of the voting. We'll leave everybody, the community votes, and we just facilitate.
Exactly. So please go to the post, and please, if you know creative people who are kind of on the fence, just, oh my gosh, encourage them. And if you're a creative person and you've been like, well, I've been thinking about making some artwork, or I have a photo that I think that is particularly maybe impish or indry-ish, or you just think would make a fantastic wallpaper, then please share all that creativity with us. And we cannot wait to see what you all make. And we're so excited.
We're stoked to have it back too. It's gonna be good fun.
Yes. Oh, Yannick, hello. So some people who are just joining us at the end, alas, but yes, but it is going to be a really fun competition, and so yes, please share the word. We will be retweeting reminders during the summer, and we will especially be reminding people close to the end. So, because it's like, we'll give you like a week notice, and then that night before, especially for those of you who were like, oh, I meant to make a wallpaper, and then you make it the night before. We've got you.
There'll be lots of reminders, so it should be good. Mm-hmm. And Ronnie's last comment here, I have a feeling Ubuntu image will still be in 2010, but I think they mean GNOME 338. So that might be an interesting question to bring to the desktop in Daba, which is happening tomorrow. So we could talk there, and Heather and the team will be able to let you know if that's the case, or if not, that's not the case, and maybe have some insights into past wallpaper contests, because I know Martin and Ken, who will hopefully be on tomorrow's stream, have lots of experience with these kinds of things with the community. So
yes,
they'll be able to answer that really.
So definitely be sure to tune in, and that is happening at 1700 UTC tomorrow, and right in the same place, both here on YouTube and here on Twitch.
Awesome. Well, I think that's the announcement. We've spoken to our lovely guests. I think that's everything, Monica.
I think so. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. This was awesome, as always.
Thank you for joining. And we'll either see you tomorrow or we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.